Happy Friday afternoon, everyone. We're going to let some people get in here. We may only have 10 people. That's okay. I'm going to run my mouth anyway. I don't feel good, so I'm nice and grumpy today. So sorry to everyone if I catch a little bit of a tood. It's been a stressful week, you guys. We've had a lot of bullshit going on. Did I want to deal with this? Not today. Not today. Makes me all cray-cray. So, how is everyone doing? I'm going to scroll up and say hello. I know everyone is over at Constant Sue's right now, and that's okay, because this will be here later for your viewing pleasure at your convenience. Hello, May, Victoria, Heaven's Baby, Dodie, Kemper, anyone else who is out there. Kara was here earlier, but she might be working. Well, I hope everyone is doing well, all things considered. YouTube never fails to keep us in that shock value. Hello, John Cena. Hang on one second, you guys. Okay. If you guys hear birds chirping and dogs crunching and stuff in the background, I'm so sorry. It's beautiful out here today. So I have the back door open. There's a breeze going. My allergies are going to hate me for that later, but we'll get through it. Hello, Any Pats. It's so good to see you, Linda Fontaine. So I thought today we would just have a little chit chat, nothing in particular, just kind of the prelude of what's to come. Because a couple of people have gotten on my radar lately. For whatever reason, they don't seem to care for me too much. And hey, I'm not for everyone. Sometimes, I can't even handle dealing with myself. Hello, Nana. We have Rap to thank for this, I guess, because he has crept his way back onto YouTube, cruising around in cars that we know aren't his, right? Like he was laughing yesterday saying, oh, they think I rented this car. It doesn't matter if you rented the car, if you found it parked outside of a coffee shop with the keys in it. I don't care. We just know it's not yours, right? You didn't suddenly become independently wealthy and now you've got this oceanfront property and all these luxury cars to drive. You have not a pot to piss in. You literally have all your crap in someone else's luggage. Like, that's the reality of your situation. The suitcases don't even belong to you. Even if she would have put your crap in hefty bags, those wouldn't have belonged to you because you don't do anything that resembles adulting. One of these days, you're going to learn a hard lesson. If not having your children in your life isn't something that opens your eyes, I don't know what else will. But you're a scumbag. And we're going to get to that because my opinions have not changed. These two people that I'm going to be talking about today, they are pro rap. Like, they just think that we've all got this all wrong and he's a great stand-up guy and he's the victim in this situation. And I was gonna read two community posts to you because I know how you guys like story time. But I only have one to read because the person deleted the other one. Hey Raz. Um, so I only have one to read. And I can't really tell you if this community post is directed at me because all of her community posts are passive aggressive. They don't ever, like I'm live and direct right here. 7 days a week, baby. You got something to say to me? Bring it. We can have a conversation. Not everything has to be an argument. I've never said anything about these two people. I just, the one I don't know much about. I've only seen her on one panel. Most of us know the panel I'm talking about. She was on Mama T's. But that stream had to be deleted because when she was on there, the crap she was saying was like next level rancid. Um, I'm just going to give you a little brief synopsis, but she was talking about her son's below the belt gifts in comparison to his dad's. And I think there was something like CPS involved. I don't know. But that's the only thing I had to reference her because I didn't know who she was. So when I started hearing her name, I was like, oh, is that the chick that was on someone's panel saying vile stuff about her son and had something with CPS? That was my question. That's the only thing I had to describe this person. And everyone said, yes, that's the one. Well, the new thing to do is to like try to get in everyone's discords and see everything that's going on. Well, someone saw that. It got back to her that I was asking. So she made a comment on something directed at me saying that what she said about her son was a joke. The CPS report was ripped up and thrown in the trash and blah, 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 blah. Okay, great. You still said it. I would never in a million bazillion years even think about joking about my children's body parts in comparison to a parent or anyone else. That's sick. It's gross. And just don't do that shit anymore. Because it literally made my stomach turn. And she wasn't backing down from this. While she was on the panel doing this, I remember people in the chat going nuts, freaking out because she was up there saying this stuff. Am I robot-y? My Wi-Fi is all okay. There we go. They were just saying, get her out of here. She's so gross and tacky, and who says that shit? But she, doubled down and stood behind what she said, and it became a big thing. And then I didn't hear anything else about her for a while until this rap thing came up. And the other person, I don't even know what her name is at this point. She's had so many, but we're going to call her Stephanie because her name could be Stephanie. It could be Mandy. It just depends on what day of the week it is and who you ask. I'm going to go with Stephanie, like for all intents and purposes, but Stephanie's just cooler. So I don't really care to look at people under a microscope or, things like that unless I have reason. Well, I always thought it was weird that she was like so insistent that Shelby Shell was innocent and that, he needed a new trial, collected all kinds of money for phone calls and copies of this and it, all this hard work we're doing. It takes money and resources and keep it coming, send us those super chats. And oh, if you want to hear a phone call with Shelby this week, you're going to need to send us some money. Well, whatever, I know it can take money to run a channel. Obviously, I don't put squat into mine, but some people do. So she was bringing us all these phone calls of Shelby, and it was pretty interesting, I guess. I always wonder what goes on inside the mind of a criminal. Like I want to just get in there and, run my fingers through their brain and just kind of figure them out. So the only way we had to do that was listening to these phone calls. Well, I don't know. I don't speak Kentucky. That's a different part of the South than what I'm in. But I could decipher most of it. Well, then I started doing my coverage of the trial, because I never really got into it before. I had a lot going on at the time, and I was looking into this other case, and I just really couldn't take on something of that magnitude, because let's be honest, it is a hot motherfucking mess. It's just a mess. And so I found this video of these phone calls with Shelby, and I thought that it would work great with the segment that I was doing, because it gave a clear look at the contrast between like Ernie and Shelby when it came to that trial, like their demeanor and the things that they said and stuff like that. Um, it it just showed a good contrast, and so I wanted to use just a clip of that video. I wasn't even going to use the whole thing, and I know it was there. I know it was there. I'm like, I have near photographic memory, and I take my research very seriously. And I could have just recorded it or clipped it or whatever and made it my own, but I wasn't going to do that. I was going to link the video in my chat. Hell, I even told people it was going to be coming the next time I went live, and told everyone to go sub up to her channel and listen to the call. And then I'll be damned, people went over there to go listen to the call. They were going to go give her a sub or give her a view, whatever. She was going to benefit in the long run, thanks to me. And then I started getting all these messages that they couldn't listen to the call because she took it off. She put it behind a paywall and made it members only. Well, I mentioned that. Hey, Dutchie, sassy mamacita. So happy y'all are here. I mentioned that in my next live. I was like, look, sorry you guys couldn't go hear that call because it was put behind a paywall. Well, then here comes the passive aggressive community post saying that the material is out there. You just have to dig a little harder or email for it. Ma'am, that's not how this works. Like, you literally were hoping to make a few bucks off that phone call because you knew that people wanted to hear it. And I just feel like if it wasn't already on a members only, don't do it like that. That's dirty. That's shady. And that shows what your character is like. So that left me with a bad taste in my mouth right off the bat. Because here I am, I don't know this woman. I'm directing people to her channel, to her work. Lord knows she could use a few more subs or a few more people in her chat. And then the irony of it. I was going back through her channel and I came upon this video that she did, and it was a phone call with Shelby, and it had taken him longer to be able to talk to her. I don't know, something was going on to where they were off schedule, because they had this schedule that they talk to each other every day, from what I hear. And the video was about how, I don't know if anyone remembers, but last year sometime Ernie had said that he had called the prison and made some big hoopla about people making money off phone calls with his brother, and that he is putting a stop to it. Well, in that phone call with her and Shelby on that video, it was talking about what Ernie did. And she asked Shelby how he felt about people making money off of it. And I was thinking to myself, this chick just took this other phone call and put it behind a paywall. And now this video, she's asking Shelby how he feels about people making money off of that. Lady, aren't you making money off of it by putting it behind a paywall? Because people have to become a member of your channel to hear it. And probably nobody even wants to hear it anymore. It's old news, but I was trying to put a different spin on looking at his case. Maybe you think I'm not good enough to approach his case. Maybe you question my knowledge, my intellect, my education, because you made another passive aggressive post, and this is the one I'm going to read to you guys. Maybe she's not even talking about me because, like, in a more recent post, she's talking about Pooh's best friend and Burger Boy, whoever the hell that is. Let's say here. Okay. So this was from 5 days ago. Just no. No, she uses no punctuation in her run on sentences whatsoever. So I'm going to have to put the pauses in on my own. Just know no one trying to get into the justice system would act out of mob mentality and choose a path to publicly destroy anyone if it was found to be planned, then all involved could face consequences. There's no periods and no commas in that sentence. And after consequences, she used ellipses. Do not act of the hate of another, especially if you have no clue. Now, I don't know how many other viewers are like going into a field related to criminal justice. I know that there are some that are currently somewhere in that field or have been or retired, or even if they didn't go into the field, they have taken some classes on criminal justice. I don't see a lot of people talking about that's what they're currently doing. So the fact that she opened with just know no one trying to get into the justice system would act out of mob mentality. So we're going to take this little first part and we're going to just get it out of the way. It's no secret that even people who are going into the criminal justice system can have hobbies or opinions of their own. Anyone who knows me knows that I don't get involved in all the bullshit. I'm not out here fighting anyone's battles. I'm not out here going after people in their real life. Anything I do, if people ask me questions that I can answer for them or I can point them in the right direction, I don't make a big spectacle out of it. I'm not out here claiming to be anything I'm not. I'm damn sure not out here trying to draft up fake gag orders with more spelling and grammar mistakes than a second grader. I am open and upfront. And if you think for 1 second that any of my instructors, past, present, or future, do not know what I do on here, you are sadly mistaken. I am respectful, even though it pains me sometimes. But I have strong opinions, and I definitely have strong opinions that when it has anything at all to do with someone being raped. And to see you women, people who have lost loved ones to suicide, sitting over there while he drives around, wandering around Jacksonville, Florida aimlessly on someone else's dime because someone has to be paying his way to live. YouTube money's going to run out soon enough. When he used to have 400 and 500 in chat, he had like 120 last night. And it's because no one wants to listen to his breakup songs on a loop. Nobody cares where you are as long as you're not hurting another woman, as long as you're not taking advantage of another woman. And just because, what did you say? Because her ass was hanging out of her robe. And even though she said no, you took it upon yourself to do it anyway. How can you women sit over there and stroke this little troll's ego like he's done no wrong? The things that y'all are saying about Smokey are horrendous. And Miss Ma'am, if you really are like this justice system hero and you can do all these great things, including write your own gag orders, your radar should be going off. This guy admitted to being $15,000 behind in child support. He admitted it. None of us treated him like a little howdy doody puppet and, threw our voice to make it sound like he said it. None of us are ventriloquists. He stood right in her kitchen on the phone with the liberators, and I haven't forgotten about y'all either. Stood right in that kitchen and said that he was, behind all this child support, but didn't bother to tell her. He wanted to marry her. He wanted to have a child with her, but he didn't think that being 15K in back child support, he didn't think that was a big deal. He thought that he was going to build a successful marriage based on lies right out of the gate. So moving on, I don't even know what the second half of her little post. She's basically saying, someone who is going into the justice system, which let me enlighten you, I'm going to be a death investigator. I'm not going to be a police officer. I'm not trying to, do anything else except figure out what caused someone's death. Will I work alongside law enforcement? Mm-hmm. Will I work alongside the coroner and medical examiner and all those fine folks? Mm-hmm. In order to go into that field, I have to have a criminal justice degree. And here's the cherry on top. In the fall, I'll be taking my state exam to be a private investigator. But even then, I'm still allowed to have my opinion. I'm still allowed to come on my channel, and I'm still allowed to talk about it. The only reason you're saying it's the mob mentality is because the people who have opposing opinions also share those opinions with some people that you really don't like. I'm not up here saying anything about him or anyone else that isn't true. And we've all seen it play out. And there's so much more that none of us even know about. I'm sure you think you know about it all because I'm sure he's filled in some blanks and, given his spin on things. But newsflash, he's already been proven a liar. He proved that himself when he was on the phone with the liberators and told them, but just don't say anything about that child support when she's around because I haven't told her anything. Boom, he's a liar. Just like the first hint that he was a rapist was when he said, she said no, and I took it upon myself to do it anyway. And then he had the thought to just try to sweep that under the rug by saying, well, I was intoxicated when I said it. You know who says stuff like that? You know who tries to explain away everything on alcohol or, being a little lit up? Guilty people. Guilty people try to use that excuse. Just like when we were all teenagers and someone said, I didn't know I cheated on you. I didn't mean to. I was drunk. Yeah, you little liar. You're just a cheater. In his case, he's just a rapist. And that's not me just pulling, a rabbit out of my hat and deciding to call him that. By legal definition, he's a rapist. Just her going to the police and saying, look, this happened, that's all they need to open an investigation. That's all they need. They're going to take her word for it because that's their job. Their job isn't to just decide, they don't flip a coin and say, oh, well, are we going to believe her or not? But you guys do. You guys just automatically assume she's a liar and you're victim blaming. Kemper says, I got another set of privacy complaints from Rap over the admission videos, even with his face off of it. He really doesn't want those heard. Yeah, well, why? Why wouldn't he want those heard if it's not true? He should just laugh it off like he does everything else. And all of these people that I'm talking about, like, I don't like, they're welcome to come up here. If someone wants to come up here, you just raise your little hand out of the bushes and I'll drop you a link and you can come up here. So the next part of the community post says, to understand the phrase malicious intent from a legal perspective, we must understand the terms malicious and intent. Now, there's punctuation in this next part. So I'm thinking that everything after that last line of the first paragraph is a copy and paste job. Malicious, or malice in parentheses, is a legal term used to refer to a party's intent to do harm, the desire to cause prejudice or damages. Well, talking about the actions that Rap took that day is not malicious. It's the truth. It's only malicious because all of you don't want anyone talking about it. From a legal point of view, malice can be expressed or implied when the conduct or the actions of a party denotes malice and desire to cause injury. I have no desire to cause injury to anyone. What I have a desire to do is to make people aware of the effects of sexual assault and rape. I want people to know that you're not alone, that a lot of us out here are victims and survivors or someone who is. I have the desire to let victims and survivors know that it's okay. You're not the reason that this happened. I have the desire to make the people who prey on others and who do things like this, I have the desire to expose them. I have the desire to shout it from the rooftops, hey ladies, hide your wallets and your purses and your credit cards and don't let this guy into your house because now he's wandering around with nowhere to go. I have the desire that when someone comes online threatening to kill themselves, I have the desire to let them know that even if you think you're perfectly okay, you doing stuff like this lets everyone know that you need help. You're not well. I have the desire to let people know what their legal parameters are in any given situation. People know that I'm approachable. They know that I'm here for them. And they know that I'm not going to blindly follow a criminal just because people I don't get along with are of the opposite opinion. I'm not going to follow someone who had no regard for the person that they claim to have loved. They had no regard for the trauma that she had already been through. And they used the same situation to try to manipulate her. It's not just the assault that we're dealing with. It's the fact that it's not even trying to manipulate her so much. It's that he did it to all of us. He did it to every single person who had ever sat in his chat and said, yeah, you're the GOAT, blah, 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 blah. You're so great. Yay. All of those people, it was like a smack in the face when you hopped online and pretended to drink antifreeze? Because you didn't just do it to her, you did it to everyone that was watching. And even when he's driving around playing his carefully selected song choices, talking about suicidal and murder on the mind and all that crap, and come on, do you not see what he's doing? You like my reenactment better? Ah. How can you guys sit there and say some of the horrific things you say about Smokey and be okay with yourselves? Y'all are some vicious ass people. Well, she should have removed herself. It's her house. It's her freaking house. Her bed. She should be able to feel safe and secure in her own home. Like I said before, you can walk in front of someone in your damn, as Ernie would say, birthday suit, and that still doesn't give anyone the right to put their hands on you or do anything that you aren't in the mood for. If you're not in agreement, then that means no. Hold on. Hang on, I gotta. Someone remove that comment. We're not here talking about Jimbo, okay? That's what we're not doing. Ay, ay, ay. Okay. Intent or intention is a person's state of mind. Again, she put that in quotations. If a person's intention or state of mind was to cause damages on purpose for evil reasons, we say that the person's intention was malicious or there was malicious intent. So, in all of this word salad, we know that she was the author of the first paragraph, the first run on sentence, which is basically just saying, attacking anyone's credibility um, who claims to be going into the justice system. You're not allowed to have a differing opinion if that opinion is the same as some people you don't get along with. Because that's the only reason, right? That's the only reason she made that post. Now, she had another post. Oh, can you become a detective after being charged with a felony? In most cases, the answer is no. You cannot become a police officer with a felony on your record. However, there are some exceptions. Some states allow felons to become police officers if they have been pardoned or if their conviction was expunged. And then the comments is where I found, are you referencing Pooh's Bestie or Burger Boy? Does anyone know who Pooh's Bestie and Burger Boy is? I understand that that's your thoughts, Alexa. I get it. And I like people to share their thoughts. It's just right now I'm just trying to stay on task with these two. These two ladies, and then if we can, bring a little attention to what Rap did, then we can debate other thoughts at another time. I just like to have a smooth running chat. I don't like everyone fighting with each other. So, this is where I'm at. I have not dug into Stephanie or karma reflection ever. What I see happening is I know that there was a big hoopla some time ago because of some shady things that Not Today had done. The fake gag order is one. Um, when you see all the aliases she's had, and there's a criminal record, which people make bad choices in life, right? We all make mistakes. I get it. It does kind of give you cause for pause when you look at everything combined. And then the stolen valor is a big one for me too, because I have military in my family, so I don't look too kindly on that. So for someone that has all these fake things about them, to question the integrity or the education or someone's honesty who is choosing to go into the justice system, like, do you really have a place to do that? Have fun with your son, Jimbo. Hey, bees knees. um so now I am looking. I don't care about who your girlfriend, boyfriend is, none of that. It's not, this is stuff that I'm only concerned with what you do on YouTube. If it's something that relates to something you brought to YouTube and it's shady, I'm going to talk about it. And that's why I said this is just a prelude of what's to come, because I want to understand. I like to get to know people. But rather than this person approach me and be like, look, I think, you might be part of a mob mentality, then I could just tell her one on one, you got it wrong, sister. I just don't agree with rape. I don't agree that not only did he rape his fiance, but then he got on the phone with his YouTube friend and laughed about it, made a joke about it while walking around her house. That's low. That is so freaking low. And then he goes on live and shows the picture of them and their little marshmallow heads and, keeps sticking his ring in the camera. Why? You're definitely not going to woo her back. You're complaining on the phone about being 600 or 6 hours away, and that if you were going to have to pay all that money, then you were going to try to get something out of it, like visitation, and try to make her drive halfway so you could see your child. No. You're the non-custodial parent, so if you were granted visitation, which I'm guessing since you keep missing these court dates, it's probably not going to happen. You need to be more than happy to get in that car and drive to go see your child. Hold on, I want to see. The gag order, 300 pictures of the arcade crime scene, talking to Eric Rush, Christopher Tapp, violating the gag order. There's a lot that she's lied about. Yeah, I'm trying to sift through it all. So, speaking of standing in her kitchen, talking on the phone and making a big ha ha joke about it, let's talk about the liberators, because I haven't addressed it up until now. I was madder than snake shit when it happened. I was. Oh, Lord. I was like busy doing other things. It was on a Sunday afternoon, and I was like spring cleaning and cleaning baseboards and stuff. And I started getting all these notifications, and I'm like, holy hell, what is going on? Um, I was told that the Liberators were about to play my live, the one I had done about rap. And I was like, oh, okay. So I went over there to check it out. And then all of a sudden, I hear about this SA Island. And I was like, oh, no. I do not want my name associated with this. I would never, ever condone or support something that trashy. And then I'm like, I don't know. I was so caught off guard. And so I just sat there and listened for a few minutes, and I watched it all like go to shit so fast. Yes, bees knees. The Liberators. Oh gosh. Let me back it up a little bit. They hadn't been around when everything came out about what happened to Smokey. And like they had come on, and the stand raised like close to $800 for them because they had something going on with one of their mothers medically, and I guess they needed money. I don't know. Some people think that they were getting money for rap. I honestly think they were getting money for themselves. Um, so they got all this money raised, and then nobody hears from them for a few days. They come back and they act like, oh my gosh, rap did that? I didn't know a thing. And then come to find out, they knew the whole time. And I thought it was weird because Ma kept saying, I don't want to have to choose between rap and Smokey. And it blew me away. I seriously had to quit cleaning the baseboards for a second because I was in shock. You don't want to have to choose between rap or Smokey. I understand that you have love for both of them, but come on. And then they come on and they think it's a good idea to have SA Island. $500 to get rap to SA Island. Hell, I'll punt the little guy over to his own island for free. I think he needs to be on his own little island. But that was probably the worst thing anyone could do. Like, I'm still, it still makes me very angry to think about it. That's how bad it upset me. Because I felt like it was so disrespectful. And it was just like, and now that you hear the conversation that he had with the libs on the phone, it makes it even that much more disgusting. And I think that they should completely be ashamed of themselves. And I noticed that they went in Rap's chat yesterday. I don't think they had a wrench anymore. I don't know. I'm not sure if he had a wrench. Yes, Beth. Beth says, I had love for both of them too. I've been a friend to both of them. But soon as I found out what Rap did, my friendship ended right then. He was on the other line threatening, and I just left him there. See, that's the kind of guy he really is. He's not just this quirky little voice on a computer that makes people laugh. And yeah, he was funny. He was funny as shit sometimes. But I also knew he had this arrogance about him. Like, I always knew he was an arrogant little twat. You could just tell he was full of himself. In Rap's case, the person you love never existed. Yeah, that's true. And he had so much support from so many people. And I imagine that some people might even be able to get to a place of forgiveness and acceptance if he would just come clean. Quit making excuses, because we all heard it come out of your mouth 3 times. So getting back to what the libs did, I was a little freaked because I did not want my content playing to have anything to do with SA Island. I wasn't about it. I did have a wrench on their channels. I was given a wrench because apparently I had a clone at one time that was causing problems in another chat, so they gave me a wrench. It's not a big deal. I don't need another wrench. So, liberators, this is me telling you that I pull my support from you. I know I didn't really know y'all well anyway. I don't want a wrench on your channels. I don't want to be associated with you. I think that it's going to take a lot for you to come back from what you did on that Sunday afternoon. And then to try to walk back and make it seem like, oh, well, it wasn't about that. Yeah, it was about that. You were looking to make $1 on someone else's trauma. And that shit's not cool. I don't know where your friendship's at with Rap these days, but if you're still talking to him, maybe you need to encourage him that while he's out driving around the streets of Florida, soaking up the sun, living his best life, that he go put in some job applications, because these children that he brought into the world deserve to have their needs met. And if you're not going to give anything else to them, none of the things that a father should give, at least help support them. And now a lot of things make sense. It makes sense that the guys never worked, because to be that far behind on child support, there's 2 reasons that he could have decided he didn't want to work anymore, or that he felt he couldn't. The first being that AT&T fiasco. He kept saying that some other guy was responsible for all of that. Well, if he tried to get a job anywhere and they did a background or, anything like that, they would have found that. He couldn't use that place for a reference. None of that. Or he was afraid to get a job because he knew they were going to garnish his wages. And now, yes, whenever he does get a job, they will garnish his wages for that back child support. And not showing up for that court date, even though you were told it's just to get everything set up, the judge still takes note of whether or not you're there. So keep on. Keep on driving around in your little Dodge, driving back and forth in front of the beach for no apparent reason. I just don't think that I would be content with that kind of mindless existence. Like, I love a good vacation, but I wouldn't want every day of my life to be a vacation. He does 100% act like a young teen mentally. We've all done that, right? When we broke up with someone when we were like, who remembers making mixtapes in like middle school? You'd break up with someone and you would like make a mixtape of every sad song in the world. Yeah. Well, that's essentially what Rap has done. He plays the same songs over and over. And monkey ass, you loon, why are you sending him $100 to listen to that crap? Keep your money. He's not going to put that money towards something useful like child support. He's just not going to do it. He's selfish. And these aren't mob mentality opinions, Stephanie. These are my opinions. This is what I see when I look at the guy. So don't make all these community posts that don't make sense. If you got something to say to someone, say it. Don't be scared. I mean, let's listen. Again, it starts with you. If you have had enough, then please, by all means, learn where you start. You are held accountable to your state's laws. Not all states are the same. Start with your local and be prepared with evidence to hand in. What are you talking about? I'm all for giving people resources and directing them where to go if they have a problem. But you don't even tell what the problem is. You have to click on the little link. I'm guessing she's talking about, threats and being doxxed and stuff like that. Yes, all state laws are different. Typically, the easiest way to deal with it is to contact your state police and make an incident report. Then your state police will contact the agency in the other person's jurisdiction, and together they will look at everything and decide whether or not they want to pursue anything. But you got to be persistent. Don't just like hand it off and expect that they're just going to jump right on it. Because I'm telling you right now, when it comes to internet stuff like YouTube and all of that is last on the totem pole. Cyber divisions just are not equipped. They don't have the manpower or the time to deal with small potatoes. They're going after like white collar crime and identity theft and things like that. Hey, Queen Ashley. Hey, Daisy Joe. Oh, he goes back to court on the 11th. Is that for the court date yesterday that he missed in New York? So yeah, when it comes to YouTube cyber stuff, everybody's behaved badly, right? We've all like said some stuff that's out of line, and some stuff's gotten out of control. But they're really pushing. It seems like this chick is like really into the whole, because she's educating us on the terms of service. It says number 4 states a lot. And number 4 is you are not allowed to collect or harvest any information that might identify a person, for example, usernames or faces, unless permitted by that person or allowed under Section 3 above. In Section 3, so they're really hung up on the fact that everyone watches Rap just drive around. Like he makes that his big thing. He comes live. He went live like twice yesterday. And it's just a big joke. We're going to give them some content. Going to give them some content. Well, people are intrigued by how ridiculous you are, how nonchalant you're acting over the fact that none of us really know, but you could have a case against you any moment for what you did. And, I'm okay with none of us ever knowing for a fact because That's how you can mess up a case real quick, is to come online talking about it. What a miserable existence. Yes, Beasley's is a miserable existence. How do you not want to provide for your children? I understand there's situations, things happen all the time, and you just can't afford it. But this guy isn't even like in a position to where he's working so hard and, can barely make ends meet to take care of himself, and he just really can't afford it. It's not even that situation. It's the fact that he's sitting on his ass doing nothing, and people are just paying him, but he's using all of that for himself. Like, he's selfish. I would drive to the ends of the earth if it meant spending time with my children. I would. I would ride a bus. I would be in the most uncomfortable ways imaginable if that's what it took to be able to go visit my child. Hi, Nina. He posted a community screenshot post. He only owes 1,000. That's still 1,000 too much. Let me go look at this community post. Lord have mercy. Doesn't look like 15K to me. So pay it. Because I know you got that much on your last little YouTube payout. Just pay it. Why did you show us one with an outstanding balance? Why didn't you show something with a zero balance due? You just had the money. Yes, $1,000 to a child in need would be a huge blessing. You know what else would be a huge blessing? To have their father in their life. You led people to believe that you had this amazing parenting plan in place and that everything that everyone was saying about you wasn't true. That you had never done anything to abuse your ex. And a lot of people gave you the benefit of the doubt. You still have people giving you the benefit of the doubt. They're sitting in your chat making nasty ass comments about Smokey, and you're letting it happen. You're letting those people say those things about her in your chat. The comments I've seen about her are gross. And it says everything about the people that are making it and nothing about Smokey. She has handled this probably better than I would have. She has handled herself with grace and dignity. She has not allowed the crap that you people are saying to get to her. At least not that she lets us see. Because I know that I can keep a straight face, but some of this crap has cut me to the core. You really want to see who someone is? You just throw a tragic situation in the mix and just watch people's reactions. So for people like Karma Reflection and Not Today, your reaction to this situation what's given me googly eyes looking into you guys. And like I said, only into what you do on here. I don't care about the rest. But the way you guys talk about people, I don't care if it was a joke, karma reflection, when you were talking about your son. It was disgusting. And you had no remorse. People were calling you out on it in the moment, and you didn't care. It didn't faze you a bit. Like it just happens all the time. I have a son. I have a 20-year-old son. I would never say anything like that about him on the internet or anywhere else. And you did it with such ease in front of hundreds of strangers. She made a community post telling me to get it together or something like that. She deleted it. I don't know. I took a screenshot of my response to her because I had a feeling she would delete it. I should have screenshotted the whole thing. Oh, she had made a post and she said that she said she was standing in front of a judge and that the judge said it was consensual, but not, she spelled consensual with a T. And so I replied and I said to her, I think you meant consensual, and I spelled it correctly. And no, it definitely wasn't. The first clue was taking sex off the table for a while. The second would be his not one, but three admissions that he did it anyway. Recording laws are just a drop in the bucket compared to what he did to the woman he claimed to love then and now, his fiancée. I might add that he felt like a marriage built on lies would actually work out considering he kept his $15K in back child support a secret. She has since blocked me because I did not know that she changed her name to Reflection Room now. Yes, Beth. She went and stood. Now it was like 9 o'clock at night, and she was pink hair, don't care in front of a judge. And he just glanced at what was going on, didn't even have any facts or anything like that. And he right away said, oh, that's consensual. Any judge who does that needs to be taken off the bench. Let's see. I wish I had. Okay. So the Tennessee code, when it comes to consent, penetration is accomplished without the consent of the victim and the defendant knows or has reason to know at the time of the penetration that the victim did not consent. So she doesn't have to say no. She didn't have to put her hand up and say no. He just had to know at the time that she wasn't consenting. So he's admitted it in many different ways. He's not only admitted to the act itself, but he has admitted that she wasn't about it. She didn't want none of him and hadn't for a while because he says it more than once. He's acting like a spoiled brat 8-year-old mad about wanting Pokemon cards right now. He says that he went and filed a report for his stolen PS5. He's so broken up about that PS5 that he'll go and file a report for that, but he can't be bothered to go handle his child support issues. I don't care if it's 15,000. I don't care if it's 1,000. I don't care if it's $25. Beth says, by the way, he was already put out of the bedroom before that happened. He came in her bedroom and took it upon himself. So, yeah, let's have all the sympathy for rap, right? You guys are out here, you women, you mothers. I made a community post today and it said, if it were your daughter, what would you do? And I wanted people like Not Today's Stephanie and Karma Reflection and Bridget and all of those other people from his chat. I wanted them to answer. I knew that they wouldn't. But what if it was your daughter? What if it was your niece, your baby sister, your best friend, your college roommate? What if it was someone close to you? And it's the same exact scenario. Nothing changes except who the victim was. Would you still feel the same? Would you still sit in the chat and blame the victim, make fun, make jokes, make enemies out of people because they have a different opinion than you? Would you accuse people who are in support of the victim, your loved one? Would you still feel that their support is a mob mentality? That anyone was hate bonding? Would you send $100 super chats to the perpetrator and cheer them on because they're driving around acting like nothing ever happened? If it was your daughter, would you feel more sympathy for the perpetrator than you felt for her? That's how you have to look at situations like this. When all else fails and your common sense is just not wanting to cooperate, if you replace someone you care about and put them in place of the person that the situation involves, you have to kind of go with what your gut tells you then. Because I guarantee you, if anything like this happened to any of your daughters or sisters or loved ones, you would feel completely different. You would want the whole world to come together and know who did this, who hurt your loved one. What if it happened to you? How would you feel? How would you feel to see women who should understand things like this? And I'm not saying that only women are victims, because men are victims too. But statistically, it usually happens to a woman. Can any of you strong supporters even relate to something like this? Can you even comprehend what it's like, what it feels like? Do you know what it feels like to feel alone and feel everyone like the walls are closing in and the only thing that you can't get past is how everyone is siding with the perpetrator, the person that hurt you? You're making a joke out of it, telling people to grow up and get over it. Let's read some of these comments because you guys are some real jackasses. And it was pretty shocking. It was kind of shocking to see some of the people that were making these comments because, I used to be in chats with a lot of these people. Look at him, for over a year, he didn't want to show his face. And then right away, he just opens up with his bearded mug. Look at this. You're awesome, rap. Yeah, so awesome. So, so awesome. Let's see. Rap, you are very intelligent. Something Beva channel, you mod everyone. That way you have mod everyone. Let's see. Someone says not sure who to trust anymore. And the person that made this comment has lost someone to unaliving themselves. Let's see. Gotta love fake accounts. Oh, look, Monkey Ass sent him another $50. And don't get me wrong, he doesn't care about these people sending him money. He's not like happy they're there. They're happy that a lot of us are gone from his chat because now they have some of the focus on them. These are tiny little channels and they struggle with chats. And I'm not a numbers person. I don't care. I would still be up here flapping my gums if I had 10 people in here. But these people are now mods when they weren't before and just the perfect little cheerleaders. So when I say, what if it was someone you loved? Those are the people I'm talking to. Can you not for 1 second get over the fact that it's rap that did this and look at it as a real situation? This happens to people every day. Every 60 seconds, someone's getting assaulted. And it's not always, a stranger situation. Too often it happens with someone you trust, someone you feel safe with. When something like that happens in your own home, it can take a little while for you to feel comfortable in the place that's supposed to be your sanctuary, where you go to unwind and relax, where you spend time with your family. He's talked a lot of shit about Bridget and Stephanie, and I'm talking just in the past month, right before this happened. Well, I had heard that there was a little animosity when some messages came out where Bridget was saying some things. I had heard that kind of impacted the old friendship. And then, I thought I remember him saying stuff about Stephanie a while back when all of this stuff about the stolen valor and all that started coming out. So I didn't pay attention. Like, I remember hearing about all that, but I didn't really pay attention to it or really look at it closely. But I'm looking now. So this conversation will be continued when I have, come to my conclusion and I have an opinion about everything. This is just the tip of the iceberg. I don't like passive aggressive community posts. If you don't like the way I do something or the way I handle a situation, come tell me about it. I'm not an unreasonable person. As fun as it was during the suspense of the face reveal, this is so much better. Who cares how cute or how handsome he is? He assaulted someone. Hello? And he's worried about his PlayStation. His PlayStation. It's not stolen. You didn't buy it. It doesn't matter if it was gifted to you. You didn't buy it. Teresa said, and people are so worried about Discord lately. Teresa says, I was in that Discord last month. They talk a lot of crap there. Now says, Teresa, you have to wait it out. I turn off the gifting when spying, when hate watching. Because she's afraid she's going to get a gifted membership. Oh, people are so nosy, not today says. This is just talking about rain and strippers. Maybe it was his first stream he did yesterday. Jeez. He has a video up titled The Death of Me, and that's the one where he kept showing their pictures and flashing back and forth to his ring. Oh, yes, Beth. I forgot about that. There was a time when Stephanie wanted people. I remember I was listening into a stream and she was collecting money for phone calls, and or people were asking how to put money on Shelby's books. And hey, Luna, and she said that it needed to go through her because it was just easier that way. I don't know. It was the most ridiculous excuse I'd ever heard. Wow. Send money to her and not to his JPay. I'm going to read some comments. Yes, Robo Granny, I am shocked over some of the ones still supporting him. Look, I hope the guy gets his life together. I hope he does. Will I ever let him back into my little bubble? No. You know, I walked away from him for a while, and then I was like, all right, well, if he's going to quit being such a little nitwit, then we'll see. And we were cordial. No big thing. But this, I didn't see this coming. I really didn't. And it's a sore subject for me. I'm a victim. I've been through it. I know what it feels like. I don't have to pretend that the victim was someone I care about because I have been in that exact spot. So, Stephanie, karma reflection, why don't you guys go answer in the comments on my community post? Let me know what you would do if it was someone you cared about. I'm also curious why you think he's so innocent. What is it about the situation that just really. We'll play defense and prosecutor. How about that? Obviously, I'm on the side of the prosecution. You guys are obviously on the side of the defense. So make your case. Let's do that. Let's do a live like that next week. You guys come join me and we'll present it like an actual case. You show me your evidence. I'll show you the evidence I have. I mean, I don't like, you're real quick to call people out for not being supportive of him. So tell us why. So tell us why you feel that way. Why is he so innocent? Because it's rap? Because she didn't scream no loud enough? She doesn't have to. That's not one of the legal parameters. And he told on himself. He told on himself when he said she said no. And I took it upon myself. Hold on one second. Okay, sorry about that. So, would you guys like to do a little mock trial like that? I don't know if I could get anyone on board. Hell, Rap can even come speak in his own defense. Like, I am the kind of person, Stephanie and Karma Reflection, I like to wrap my mind around things, you know? I probably think too much. I'm an overthinker. But I definitely want to try to understand why you think that he did nothing wrong. Um, because rape isn't always this big violent act, you know. There's not always hitting or, you know, kidnapping or any. It's not always like that. And I'm going to throw a question out there because it's been weighing heavy on me. And the reason I even thought about it is because when I was victimized when I was 11, I was asleep. And I'm really hoping that she was not asleep when you started to do what you did. Because if she was, then that takes it to like a whole new level of disgusting. But I kind of feel that way because he said, you know, he tried one thing and she didn't react. She didn't push him off or whatever. And so then he went the next step. That's the only reason I even considered that. And I really hope that's not the case. Exactly. It's not always being drug out into the alley. It's happened so often where, like, especially, you know, young adult college age, you know, you hear about it all the time. And I noticed that um, when I was making the post about what were you wearing, the exhibits, when you look at where they have these exhibits, it's usually on a college campus. Um, because it happens so often. And with all the things available now, like date rape drugs and things like that, I mean, but it's not even just in our colleges, right? It's like in our high schools now, our middle schools. Little girls are being assaulted by classmates more often than we know. They go, I remember when I was in high school and we had football games every Friday night, and someone's parents were always out of town. Or you had the parents that just let their kids have parties. So after every football game, there would be a party at someone's house. Hang on one second. My dog's going nuts. Sorry about that. My youngest daughter has goldfish that she got at the Redbud Festival about a month ago. You throw the little balls in the fish tank and you get a fish. Well, she got three of them. And my lab likes to go in there and sit in front of her dresser and look at him, but then the pit likes to go in and follow the lab, and he's clumsy. So I had to latch her door. So we would have parties every Friday night after the football games. And I remember there was this girl. Um, she had a weird last name. I don't remember. Stacy Pinicky. And she was always wasted. But I remember being at a party, and it was her house that this party was at. But she had gone down the street to another party, and when she came back, the guys, like four of the football players, had to carry her into the house because she was that wasted. And they went and put her in like her parents' room or her room or something. And I kick myself in the ass because now that I think about it, did it even cross my mind? Did I even notice how long the guys stayed back in the room with her? Did I notice if they came right back out to the party? And every time I think about it, it's like a knife in the gut because, like, I try to teach my kids to be aware of situations like that. Luckily, my two oldest, let's see, one's 20 now, the other one's 18 and graduating this year. They were never the party animal type. Don't get me wrong, my son went to more parties than my daughter does. Oh, these dogs. So it does happen, and it still happens. And I remember like looking at my kids' social media and seeing some of the stuff that these kids share, and it's like it's so important to understand and realize that this stuff happens every single day. It happens in marriages, it happens in relationships, it happens in friendships. In both of the situations that I was in, it was someone that was close to me. It's hard enough to get over something like that when it's a stranger that violates you, that takes something from you. It is a completely different ball game when the person who hurts you is someone you trust. So by just taking this situation and minimizing it and placing the blame on the wrong person and just kind of sweeping it under the rug like it never even happened, that's concerning to me. That's especially concerning to me if you guys are raising children, especially if you have teenagers. Are you teaching them that although you agree that nothing was wrong in this situation, they shouldn't ever do anything like that? Are you teaching them about boundaries and respecting someone's personal space? Are you teaching them to respect what no means and that no isn't always verbalized? Are you teaching them that if something ever happened to them, it's okay to speak up, that you're not going to judge them, you're not going to blame them, you're not going to re victimize them or hold them accountable for what happened to them? If something like that happened to one of your children, would you look at them and say, well, you should have removed yourself from the situation? You got what you deserved because you didn't? Are you going to look at them and say, well, you shouldn't have been laying down in your own bed? Or you shouldn't have been in shock when it was going on and didn't know how to speak at all? So if you guys are down for that, I will set something up. We can just, if, of course, if they don't respond or they don't give any indication that they're going to come, then I don't know, I'll figure out how to work it out. I don't want to keep harping over the same thing because every time someone talks about it, it is, like a sucker punch. It brings those feelings back. And, Smokey hadn't been around much. I'm sure she listens to some things, but this is tough. This isn't just tough for her, though. It was tough for a lot of us. So when I see you people over there in full support of him, acting like he does no wrong, he definitely did do wrong. And no more passive aggressive community posts. You guys know where to find me if you have an opinion or you want to say something to me. And if that post wasn't directed at me, it was directed at Pooh's best friend or Burger Boy. If anyone finds out who those people are, let me know because I'm curious. Let me see if there's any other comments that I missed. Guys, we still have a few more days in April, which is still Essay Awareness Month. I'm going to be posting some more things, and then tomorrow we are going to talk about rain. My daughter had strep throat for the 987th time this week, so let's see. And thanks to all of you for sharing links. Everyone is always welcome to share their links in here. Yes, he is a loud eater. And he doesn't just go to his bowl. Like I fill all the dog bowls up at the same time. He has to go eat a little bit out of each bowl because the lab is really snotty and she doesn't like to eat after another dog. So she will literally let a bowl of food sit there until she just can't take it anymore. She doesn't like pit slobber in her food. Well, that's really all I have for today. I just wanted to get that little bit of stuff off my chest and invite Carmen, not today, to come have a little debate with me. I think it would be fun. It would be productive. People could get to know y'all a little better. But if I hear something that, doesn't seem right or that's inconsistent, I'm going to call it out. And I'm still going to be talking about this fake gag order and all this other stuff going on. So, Karma Reflection, when you saw in Discord that people we're talking about a background. Someone had asked me if I had seen someone's background yet, and I said no. We weren't talking about you, ma'am. We were not talking about you. So that's just, shows where you should think before you speak, or know what you're talking about before you open your mouth. Because that's what prompted your community post to me, telling me to get it together. That's how I learn about people. Like, do I want someone close to me that's making fake legal documents or funneling money through themselves to go on some poor prisoner's commissary? That sounds shady to me. People can go online and add money directly to him just as easily as they can send it to you. I mean, what professional standing do you have to make yourself power of attorney over someone? That's kind of weird too. You're not part of that family. Y'all weren't in a relationship. You are not his attorney. You're not his doctor, his psychiatrist. You're not any of those things. You're just an average citizen, and you have power of attorney over this person. I'd like to know a little more about that. And I like to get my stuff straight from the source. So I have all these questions. So let me get to know you. Answer some of them for me. Enlighten me. And then we'll talk a little bit about why you support rap too. But I appreciate all of you being here. I'm not sure who's going live next because I haven't been checking notifications. But whoever's going live next, go support them. I will get tomorrow's live scheduled here shortly, and we will talk about rain. I know Mama T was talking a little bit about rain the other day. Someone in the chat was telling her about it. So, yeah, we'll talk all about it. And I made a community post. If you feel so inclined to donate some money, I highly recommend that organization. You can just go to rain.org, and it will tell you step by step how you can donate. I hope everyone has had an amazing Friday so far, and by all means, be safe tonight if you're going out partying on the town. And as always, hug your loved ones. You never know if there's going to be a tomorrow. Make someone smile today. Be a positive impact on someone's life today, and you will feel so much better when you go to sleep tonight. I appreciate and love all of you, and I will see all of you tomorrow. Have a good evening, everyone. Yes, a murderer. She's all in defense of a murderer. All right, everyone. Have a good evening. I'll see you all soon.